When I got here, I didn't go ahead with marriage because I didn't like the person that I was going to be married to. I met my wife when she was 15 years of age. We've been very happy ever since. It's 55 years of marriage. I worked with the TNT Group until 1991, at which stage I retired. I was 55 years of age. I got home and my wife said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm retired." She said, "Get back into something." So I started a company called WI Freight Lines, which it was very successful. It was large turnover. We were employing around about 500 people. And this time I started to retire, 73 years of age, and now I'm pretty happy.
As a young Italian man arriving in Australia and suddenly driving all over the country, what was your impression of that?
At first, when I came to Australia, I cried myself out quite a few times. I had no one here, no mum, no dad, nobody. And eventually, I got over that. I then got into the mining in Kalgoorlie. I became a machine miner. In 1957, I had an accident with broken ankles and a back.
What happened to you?
I had a caving in the mines.
It caved in?
Caved in, yeah.
Do you remember that moment?
Yes. Got taken to hospital and I was there for 9 months. In 1957, I got into trucking. I bought an International 184 and started going to the Eastern States. And I started making something for myself. Australia is a wonderful country. If you are willing to work, you can make something of yourself. As long as you're honest, you'll come out in front.
Did you love driving a truck?
Yes, I did initially. I did like to drive a truck. You were meeting a lot of beautiful people, where it was beautiful country. The Nullarbor, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. We got beautiful country here, and you got to see it. One way of seeing what was there, it was your own trucks and travel.
What did you love about it? What kept you in it?
It was always being a challenge. You're dealing with drivers and forklift drivers and that. At the same time, you're dealing with the corporate people, like managing director of BHP or the banks. So you got both sides. The challenge that you had, you could pick people and grow them and say, yes, this is going to make it, so I'm going to put my time towards him or she. And that's the greatest satisfaction that you have in life, to be able to teach them to respect the laws of the land. And the older you get, the more you learn to love life, first of all, and the reason why you've been put in this earth. You're not always correct in things, and you're not always liked on what you're doing. Eventually, 20 years later, somebody comes up and shake your hand and say, "Che, I remember what you did, and you were right. Couldn't see it at the time."
Do you have a favourite trucking song?
Andrea Bocelli, very beautiful singer.
So that is an interview that ABC did a couple of years back with a gentleman by the name of Sergio Casotti. Sergio came to Australia with no family. His parents weren't here. He was a young man from Italy, and as you heard, he started out in mining, and after a cave-in, his back was broken. He wasn't able to mine, so he started driving trucks, and within 20 years he had built the biggest trucking and logistics company in Western Australia. West Australian Freight Lines had over 800 employees, hundreds of subcontractors. It was eventually bought out by TNT when TNT was expanding, and him and his partner Angela Casotti moved to the Gold Coast for some period of time and then ended up coming back to WA. I was fortunate enough to work for his second company. After a period of non-competition and non-competition clause, he returned to WA and got back into transport. And within a couple of years, again, he built up his second company with the best service from Western Australia to the eastern states that both east and west states could not compete with. I was fortunate enough, and as I mentioned, to be able to work with this company, and I started off as a loader doing manual labour, and it was a hard job. It was an extremely hard job. I remember sleeping out the front of the warehouse on a couple of occasions because the last shift would finish at 8, 9, 10, and then we'd have to start at 4 or 5 again, or 3. And well, my travel home and commute, that's an hour and a half or 2 hours out of the day that I don't really have. I'd rather be sleeping. So I'd sleep out the front of the warehouse. The first driver would wake me up when they got in, and I'd then get to work. I learnt everything about transport, sales, and building professional relationships as well in that position. After being a loader, I was fortunate enough to have a couple of the operators there, Bryce and Andrew, teach me how to use a forklift, and I got my forklift ticket, and then I was driving trucks, and then I got into sales. And the experiences that I had there, as I mentioned, taught me so much. Serge and his son Paul taught me a huge amount about business and gave me a huge amount of experience as well. And being only 21, 22, the responsibility that they gave to me was I look back, it was huge. Those lessons I've been able to carry on in today. That is doing a job the best you can. Being honest, as Serge was saying there, with your business relationships. And yes, it was an amazing stepping stone to which I was then also welcomed into their family. And for the 15 years following working for that company after they sold it, I've been fortunate to be in touch with that family, the Casottis, and I've been given even more amazing opportunities in the sense that when I left IT and became a photographer and videographer, they gave me my first paid job within a couple of months of me picking up a camera, and that was for a wedding. It was just to photograph it, but I videoed it as well, and it was a long day, but once again it was another opportunity that had given me another lesson. So I bring this up because unfortunately Sergio hasn't been well of late, and while I won't disclose the details, he's still with us, but obviously with the corona issue at the moment, it must be difficult. I haven't spoken to his family directly, but it must be difficult for them to be able to be in contact with him if they are able to not have to stand behind a glass door. The relationships I also built at that employer have been with me for life so far. I met two of my best friends ever, Bryce and Nathan, and of course Dave and Andrew, Alicia, who is a very dear friend and the granddaughter of Sergio. And over the last 20 years, they've helped me, they've guided me, they've invited me into their family because mine hasn't been here, so it's I guess I'm just extremely grateful for what they've done, and what Sergio's done. So if Sergio has touched you in your life, please send your love out to their family, and To everyone that I've met because of Serge and the job, I'm so grateful for the experiences he's taught me as well. Sorry to put a somber note on this one, guys, especially before Anzac Day. So just that's a portion of a thank you. I'll try and put something together in the next couple of days with some videos and photos. I was fortunate enough to film their anniversary as well. Oh gosh, I forgot about that. So yeah, it's he's a great man, and yeah. So Serge, we love you. On a lighter note, I believe 6PR will be broadcasting the Anzac Day ceremony tomorrow. So if you are looking to join the service from your driveway, turn on 6PR, if you live in Perth firstly, jump onto your online web browser and just Google 6PR Perth, and you'll be able to listen to the service live starting from 6 AM. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for your support, your feedback, your suggestions. Everyone that's given me the opportunities to work for them, I really do appreciate it. Adam from Full Court Fitness, Matt Mercer recently. Thank you to Tyrone for your time with the interview. I really do appreciate that. I took up half an hour. I can't believe it. I took up half an hour of the guy's time. I'm so grateful for that, because I know I don't always have half an hour to give someone. So for you to have done that for me when you've got your own podcast, by the way, check out Tyrone's awesome podcast, and your own stuff going on. So thank you, Tyrone. Oh gosh. It's dust. I'm not crying, okay? It's dust. I'm gonna ruin my tough guy image. Also, I want to thank Bryce and John and Charles. Recently, my friends have, well, not recently, but over the last couple of months, they've always been extremely creative, but in the last couple of months, they've been pursuing their creative endeavors. Bryce with photography. He's, within 45 days, Bryce has begun a professional page and started selling online products. I am so lucky to have him as a close friend, because I learned so much of him off him. He's a brilliant creative mind. He writes, he's an actor, he's a videographer, he's a photographer, and he's far more talented than me. I hate to admit this, but it's true. He's far more talented than me. He's a tremendous source of inspiration, and he's always willing to teach me the lessons that he's learned. So thank you, Bryce. Thank you, John, for all your branding assistance. We've got a great little segment coming out soon. Tyrone and my chat is also up. A video I did with Bryce is up. John, ours will be up soon. Charles, shout out to you, Charles. Thank you so much for the opportunity to work with you. Athletes are super inspirational and motivational people. So to be around someone with your positive energy and youthfulness, and I guess I'm just very lucky to have you guys in my life, so thank you so much. So yeah, listen, thank you to everyone. I'm very, very grateful. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay well, stay sane, and keep smiling, be kind, and as always, be awesome. Peace out.